just a quick foreword before we actually get into this video. Firstly, this is probably not going to mean anything to most of you watching this, but as of now, as of the time of creating this video, Cerebi.net has recently revealed that Australia is finally being acknowledged in the Pokemon Video Game Championships. It's about freaking time! Oh, seriously, Nintendo has ignored us for so long that, yeah, I am glad we are finally getting acknowledged, but seriously, the fact they didn't even give us a place at the VGCs until now, that is just ridiculous. I mean, we had a few random Nintendo tournaments occasionally, but none of them really warranted any place in the VGCs and didn't really, you know, get people a trip to the bigger events or anything. So finally we've got it. Unfortunately, there's limited places, so they have to hold a whole bunch of qualifying events, one of which I plan on attending in a couple of weeks' time. Which means I'm going to have to get busy training up a team, so, yeah. And secondly, this one pertains to the video itself. Now, what I'm about to do is probably one of the biggest side quests that you can do in Castelia City at this point in the game. Now, here's a slight warning for this one. The reward for this side quest is completely and utterly worthless in a no experience run. Yeah, essentially this whole side quest basically gives you nothing really, except a little bit of money. Actually, there is 1 or 2 items you get from a couple of people in the battle company, but other than that, really, this side quest is pretty much worthless. So, I'm only doing it for completeness sake and to challenge myself. So really, unless you really want to challenge yourself, I would suggest skipping out on the battle company because, again, the reward is completely useless. You'll see why once we get it. And it's basically just a bunch of battles. So really, unless you need a little bit more money, again, it's not really going to be all that much use to you. But anyway, I'm going to do it anyway. So, without further ado, battle company. Here we go. So, you want to make sure you're fully healed before you head off towards the battle company. It's pretty clearly marked, so let's head over to this place. Yeah, it's, the sign there is quite clearly marked. The moment you enter, though, you're greeted by, this guy. So, yes, he's going to say that, if we go upstairs, we're going to be running into a few battles. So, and more than a few, actually. Yeah, basically this is just one big gauntlet of battles. If you're doing a regular playthrough, I highly recommend going through here for extra experience. And for the reward. The reward here is just so worth it. And, sorry, I find this guy kind of hilarious how he says that his Pokemon wakes him up with Wake Up Slap. Now, bear in mind that Pokemon like Girder can learn Wake Up Slap. Yeah, slapping you in the face with an Iron Girder. I think that would probably give you severe concussion. Then, of course, Conkeldurr using Wake Up Slap on you to wake you up would probably kill you. So, yeah, I kind of find that amusing. So, anyway, we're going to be welcomed to the battle company by this lady. Oh, obviously, no trainers take no for an answer. Except Sky Battle trainers, apparently, but, yeah, that's not going to be until X and Y. So, we have Clerk, Female, another Herdia. Looks like, once again, it's a job for Dan the Dog Slayer. Yeah, I want to get out of there from that Intimidate. Yes, gotta switch in Dan here. But, as we've learned, these things, barring critical hits from Bite, these things can't really do much to Dan at all, so, whoa, ouch. Yeah, better wanna, I should probably harden up first, though. That is kind of nasty. Fortunately, I bought a whole bunch of drinks back there, so I should be all set when it comes to healing. Oh, and thankfully, he used a useless attack. Now, you see, if Otisluth got rid of all stat boosts, then I'd be worried. But, as it stands, yeah, all it does is reset evasion. And make ghost types vulnerable to normal moves, but that's about it. So, yeah, it's pretty much a free turn for me every time their AI decides to use it. So this first battle shouldn't be too bad. Maybe this thing will recoil itself to death. I love it when things recall themselves to death. You know, even funnier is when things Rocky Helmet themselves to death. Those Pokemon that, especially if they've just survived a hit with Sturdy, and you think, oh no, and then they hit you, and then they Rocky Helmet themselves to death. Even better if they Rocky Helmet themselves to death before the gym leader has a chance to use a full restore. That's always awesome. In fact, just yesterday, as of recording this video, I just beat the champion, Iris, on challenge mode in Black and White 2, and man, that was so much easier than I expected. I seriously thought that she went up to level 67. Nope, turns out just 63. So I reckon actually a challenge mode no experience run would be perfectly doable. I mean, it would be pretty difficult, but again, the main thing I'm worried about on a Black 2 challenge mode no experience run is Cherin. I found out that Cherin is beatable, it just requires quite a lot of luck with his AI and a lot of counter, and you need to catch quite a few counter Rigaloos and just spam counter. So he's basically the main thing I'm worried about, really, when it comes to that. Iris was pretty pathetic, if I'll be honest. Most of her Pokemon went down in 1 or 2 hits. Of course, most of my things were level 63 to 64, so... Now, some of the people here will actually not battle you and will instead give you items. These are Quick Balls. Quick Balls are very... and Timer Balls. Yep, these are 2 polar opposites. Now, funnily enough, Timer Balls have existed since Generation 3, but Quick Balls didn't come in until 4. They're essentially exact polar opposites. Timer Balls are more powerful the more turns have passed. Now, Timer Balls got a pretty big buff in Generation 5 compared to earlier generations. Before, you'd need about 30 to 40 turns before they actually reach full power. Now, that actually is pretty... It's pretty easy to get that number of turns against legendaries and the like, but still, that's a lot of turns. Now, if I remember correctly, in this game it only takes about 10 turns for them to reach full strength, which makes them a whole lot more useful. Now, it just makes the whole process of catching legendaries a whole lot less tedious. Now, Quick Balls are the opposite. Quick Balls have a ridiculously high catch multiplier. I believe it's times 4 or even times 5. But only on the very first turn of the battle. Of course, this makes it perfect for 2 things. 1, relatively low-level Pokemon that you know you'll knock out if you hit them, but you just kind of want to catch them quickly. And 2, roaming legendaries. Yep, Quick Balls are probably going to be your go-to thing for roaming legendaries. So, anyway, I don't think we can buy those 2 yet, but once we do, both of them will be reasonably useful. Not as useful as Dust Balls, but oh, what? Yikes, that was powerful. But anyway, oh right, that was Bind, wasn't it? Yeah, must have caught that Bubble Beam. You gotta watch out for Bind. I was trying to stall it out with Growl, but still. And Low Kick's not that big a threat at this point in the game due to everything being really light. Of course, when I use Low Kick. And we've defeated our first male clerk. So, yeah, I should probably talk about the whole inspiration behind the male and female clerks. Now, obviously, of course, this one's guarding the item down here. Well, I was about to say I think a lot of people are better at Pokemon battles than they are at work, and then I realised that's not a good comment on the workforce of the world, is it? But anyway, and of course, you know, living in the Pokemon universe, it's probably a good thing to be better at Pokemon battles than work, because most work involves Pokemon battles anyway. I mean, it's not quite to the extent of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Universe where everything can be solved by children's card games, but still. Most things in the Pokemon world are solved with Pokemon battles, and that's why Team Plasma presents an interesting prospect. Now, here's something annoying. This person here has a Petilil. Now, if you know what I said about Petilil being really good, yeah, that applies to enemy Petilils as well. So, Exhibit A, Sleep Powder. You're gonna learn to hate this, trust me. 75% accurate sleep move, really, really irritating. And of course, sleep is actually a lot stronger in this generation than it was before. if you switch out, your sleep counter actually resets. I think I've already explained that before. So it means that if you want to wake up, you probably need to stay in, which is annoying. Oh, you've got synthesis? Really? Oh boy, sleep, leech seed. So in other words, constant drain / healing and healing on you? Oh yikes, this is going to be annoying. I'm wondering if my best bet against this thing is actually to fight grass with grass and use my own Petilil. Leech seed won't work, but other than that I could probably stall this thing out with growth. Now this one doesn't have growth, I believe it's given it up for, yeah, what's it called, synthesis. But still, yeah, there's no way I'm getting anywhere like this. Uh-oh. Yeah, I probably need to switch out. That Mega Drain gets really annoying. Now my one may be 3 levels lower than that one, but I could still probably take this. Again, all I need to do is stall it out with growth. Hopefully things won't be too... Oh, you're kidding me! The AI just has this uncanny ability to know when you're going to switch and status your switch in. It gets incredibly annoying. Oh, I once had some opponents in Battle Subway though that I swear were just downright psychic, in that whenever I switched, they knew exactly the right move to hit my switch in for super effective damage. Oy, that is annoying. I swear the AI cheats there sometimes. Oh, of course, my sleep powder misses. Yeah, get used to the AI being lucky. Oh, and of course, you critical. Again, what was I just... Twice! Oh, well, at least you missed once. Still, I hit once out of 3 and you hit twice out of 3. Typical Pokemon AI. You need to get used to the opponent's AI being luckier than you. Now, yeah, now that they're asleep, I can just freely spam growth as much as I want. Now, later on in the game, if you're playing an actual playthrough, you can gain it. Did you just wake up and sleep? Oh, this is just ridiculous. Yeah, again, this is Pokemon AI for you. You need to get used to this if you want to play Pokemon games, seriously. Trust me, you get used to it. Especially if you play a lot of Battle Subway. Or, you know, I only just recently started the, interesting tournaments in the PWT in Black 2. And let's just say my very first experience there, I got to the finals, and then Chili nails me with 2 consecutive crits in a row. I have a feeling that that should be what I should expect for the rest of the Pokemon World Tournament, seriously. Oh, I just want to get to Kanto leaders. I seriously want to see all those other leaders again. It's probably because I have no EV train teams trained up. Going off on a bit of a tangent there, the Lucario I used to get through the whole game has like something like 122 speed at level 50. That is pretty bad. And that just goes to show how much, yeah, how awful your stats can get with random EVs through. And you hit me with Sleep Powder again! That's it. I seriously wish there was some kind of move that got more powerful the more times the AI hacks you. Times like these when full restores would be really useful, but of course we can't get any of those yet. I hate Sleep Powder. Well, at least hitting repeatedly with Sleep Powder is a little more understandable than hitting repeatedly with Hypnosis, which, of course, Morty and Gold and Silver had this uncanny tendency to do that, despite only 60% accuracy. So, right, you're just gonna keep... Okay, this is getting pretty boring, I can tell, but anyway, we've just got to spam growth enough so that we at least are 2-hit KOing this thing. Now, the whole sleep and spam boost is something that Lilligant, this thing's evolved form, can actually do later on with a much, much better boosting move, Quiver Dance. Speaking of which, this Petilil being really annoying is going to be the beginning of... Yes, this is only the beginning, because later on... Well, I'm not going to spoil anything, but you hit me again?! What, is this? Like, okay, I've lost count of the number of times, but I swear you have only missed me with Sleep Powder once. And I've missed, at least 3 times. Again, this is pretty typical, so, I can go on and on and on about how completely blatantly unfair the Pokemon AI is. In fact, I actually took a course at uni on, artificial intelligence, and, I don't think we ever got into how to make the AI cheat, though. Which is probably a good thing, but, yeah, I still think, again, you know, AI can never be as good as an actual human player, so sometimes you need to cheat a bit to give the AI a challenge. But in fact, recently, in a game design class at my uni, we had a thing where a couple of actual people in the industry, just minor people who develop indie games really, but just people from the industry came in to talk about some stuff, and I have nothing to say here. I'll just keep going. So the people in the industry came to talk to us about stuff like, stuff, and one thing that one particular person said actually really stuck out of my mind. They said the AI in a game is not there to win, it's there to entertain. And the game is not going to be entertaining if the AI is winning all the time. As in, if you design the AI so that it's going to win all the time, then a human player just won't want to play. That's exactly the reason why you actually need to tone down the AI for online checkers and things like that, simply because, well, checkers has actually been mathematically solved, meaning it's possible to make an AI that will never lose no matter what happens. But again, that goes against the whole concept of AI in games. The AI is there to make the experience fun for the player, not to make the experience utterly humiliating and soul-crushing for the player. So, yeah, that may be why, then again, I guess the, well, you know, I was about to mention fighting game final bosses in ridiculously cheap AI, and how it's not really making the game entertaining for the player. I was saying that I guess, you know, it could be entertaining for those really, really hardcore fighting game players. Then I realized something. The AI of fighting game final bosses is not, in fact, there to entertain. You know what it's there for? It's a leftover from arcade machines, where you'd have to pay extra money every time you got a game over in order to continue. Yep, the only reason fighting game final boss AI is so ridiculous is so that the players would spend more and more money trying to beat them. Yeah. Corporate greed, that's basically the only reason why fighting game final bosses are so insane. Now you know something. So they're probably the one exception to that rule, but other than that, yeah, I still agree with that philosophy, that AI in games should be made to entertain, not to win all the time. Because otherwise, yeah, the player's just going to be frustrated and not going to want to play your game. So, anyway, going off that tangent, back to the battle company. We've got a scientist here, let's see what he's got. Rock and roller? Really? You see, you normally get used to seeing scientists with, either electric types, poison types, or just Pokemon associated with science, and rock and roll. Oh, I guess this guy could be a geologist, I don't know. But why would a big city corporation need a geologist? Oh, that's interesting, using X special defense to cover your lower defense stat. I guess that's kind of smart. Again, scientists will always begin the battle by using an X item, so, yeah, you want to take note of that. That means that Megatron's going to do less. Now, the reason I used Leech Seed there is to get rid of Sturdy. Now that he's lost at least a tiny bit of his health, I won't have to worry about Sturdy activating. So, not only that, but I get free healing into the bargain, but really the reason I did this was, again, I want to kill off that Sturdy, otherwise things are going to get pretty annoying. Now, hopefully this will break through that X special defense, and yes, there we go. Oh, critical hit at that, so broke through it anyway. But it probably would have one-shotted him anyway. And that's all this guy had. Most scientists don't get that worked up over being defeated. And of course, there's another guy here, but I think that guy in the corner is actually not going to battle you. Oh, obviously. Okay, let's have a quick one then. Let's make this reasonably quick, and hopefully you're not annoying as that female clerk back there. 3. Uh-oh. What do you got? Basculin. Now this is interesting. This is a Pokemon we've never seen before. Now Basculin in Black and White kinda takes the same role Magikarp did originally, just without the, when I'm evolved, I'm gonna kill you all thing. Yeah. Basculin is, if I'll be honest, fairly mediocre as far as Pokemon go. It's alright for the point where you're able to get it, which is not this point, which leads me to an interesting thing. Basculin is one of the few exceptions to this game's whole trainers never really use Pokemon that are beyond your ability to get at this point in the game. Generally speaking, whenever you see an opposing trainer use a Pokemon, you will be able to get that Pokemon yourself soon. Now, earlier games in the series often did have trainers who teased you with really with really cool looking Pokemon that unfortunately you wouldn't be able to get until much later, or in some cases at all. Like, for example, that one picnicker up in Diamond and Pearl, just outside of Pinwheel Forest with a frigging Piplup, which is a serious tease to anybody who didn't start with that thing, because you'd need trading to actually get one of your own. So yeah, you won't see any opposing trainers apart from the rivals you starter Pokemon. I actually quite like this system because it means that, you know, if you see an opposing trainer use something that you like the look of, don't worry because you'll be able to get it pretty soon. But like I said, Basculin is the one main exception, because you won't be able to get Basculin until you can surf, and we won't be able to surf for a very, very long time. In fact, though, by the time we're able to surf, Basculin will be pretty obsolete, but that's beside the point. We are able to get a Basculin just before the 5th gym in a trade, but that's the first we'll see of them. Now, the other interesting thing about Basculin is they come in 2 forms. These forms are purely aesthetic, except for their abilities. Now, the way Basculin's abilities work is in fact really, really strange, and I actually assumed that it was kind of a glitch, the way these things work. So basically, Basculin normally have one ability, but they also have a second ability that is dependent on their form. They could have either, I believe it's Reckless or Rock Head. They normally I believe the ability they're always able to have is Rivalry. Let me just go and check my facts for a second. Okay, just checking Bulbapedia, it turns out it's actually Adaptability that's the common ability that both of them are able to. And yeah, now Red Stripe Basculin, I believe, can have Reckless as its second ability, and Blue Stripe can have Rock Head. Now, the interesting thing, though, is that in the original Black and White, Blue Stripe Basculin was programmed to have Reckless and Adaptability. So, in other words, not Rock Head. But the Blue Stripes one you got in an in-game trade had Rock Head. Now, there's evidence that Rock Head was always planned to be the ability for all Wild Blue Basculin. And in fact, Sorry, I just had to go heal at a Pokemon Center for a second. And in fact, the fact that, and go to the next floor. Okay, so yeah. But the fact that the Blue Stripe ones in the wild had the same one as Red Stripe Basculin was actually an oversight in programming. And in Black and White 2, Blue Stripe Basculin are able to have Rock Head. Now, interestingly enough, this actually makes Blue Stripe Basculin the only Pokemon in existence that's able to have 4 possible ability choices. It can have Adaptability as normal, Reckless if you catch one in the original Black and White, Rock Head if you get the in-game trade or if you catch one in Black and White 2, and if you get one from the Dream World, they can have Mold Breaker. So yeah, 4 potential abilities. So apparently Blue Stripe Basculin is the only Pokemon in the game that has that, which is interesting. But once again, Red and Blue Stripe Basculin are nothing special, but they'll have to do for some things. They're really well, the one getting in-game trade is alright, but I'll save talking about that until later. For now, we're battling some more people with some Woobats, and once again, Thunderhoof utterly fails at using special moves. See, it's times like these where if I could only level him up just a tiny bit more, he would get Spark. I think if this guy had Spark and not Shockwave, then he'd seriously be destroying things, but for the time being, yeah. Now, unfortunately, speaking of lack of good moves, my Rock'n'Roller here has no rock moves. Probably would have learned one eventually, but not at this point. I'm just using this here for, resistance to, oh, come on. Resistance to Gust, but, I think it's probably better I switch out. I was thinking Heat Stamp was special at that point, but actually it turns out it's physical for some reason. Probably one of the stranger and more useless signature moves, Heart Stamp, not... Oh right, Heat Crash is Embor's one. Oh, and of course I get a critical when I think my one hit can handle this. You know I'm going to have to go back to the Pokemon Center again after... Oh, this is bad. Now, if I can only just pray it doesn't hit me with a Psychic move, and if I can just hit it with a Rock throw here and not miss... Uh-oh! Please don't... Oh, nice. See, that's why having a physical signature move on a Pokemon that's special based is not good. Oh, you're kidding me, it's still alive? Oh, this could be bad. This could be very, very bad. Let's just hope you don't use Gust. Don't use Gust, don't use Gust, don't use Gust. Please don't use Gust. Okay, Assurance. And that's once again also physical, but... come on, just one shot. Okay, Heart Stamp, that shouldn't be too bad. Phew, no flinch. Okay, I could have been in serious trouble if that thing did flinch, but anyway, it's gone now. Level 20, wow, things are getting pretty tough. Well, almost didn't go well for me either. So... Oh yeah, of course. So why did that girl before say she was better at Pokemon battles than at work? And once again going back to the Pokemon Center to heal. Now anyway, like I was saying before I got cut off, the Clerk classes in this game, probably the first chance the Pokemon series has had to cover that ground, given that this is the first time in the series they've got a city actually as big as this. But anyway, they're based off the Japanese stereotype of salarymen and office ladies. Now, interestingly though, male clerks are actually not called salaryman in the Japanese version, they're actually just called businessmen. So, you wouldn't really expect, yeah, something you wouldn't exactly expect. But the female ones are in fact called OL, or Oeru as it's pronounced in Japanese. OL is stands for office lady, which is kind of a common, it's a thing that if you've ever looked at Japanese culture, you kind of know what it means. Basically, it's just female office workers who usually don't really ever go for... Well, the stereotype is that they don't actually really, like, get promoted that high in their job. They mostly just do it as more of a, it's a more casual thing. But things are, of course, changing. But the other interesting thing about the OL term is, in fact, it was actually chosen by a popular magazine, which is kind of interesting. Originally, the acronym was BG, or Business Girl, but they, apparently, a certain magazine ran a poll, and it was decided that OL for Office Lady was a much better acronym, so they went with that. So, that's kind of interesting. Japan... Bug Bite. Yeah, that's kind of an annoying move, given that a whole lot of things start loading at such low levels. Now, in fact, I think I'm actually going to go talk a bit about Pokemon again, finally. Bug Bite is a very interesting move. It was first introduced in Diamond and Pearl, but almost nothing learned it. And then in Platinum, they finally decided to give it to a whole bunch of early game bug Pokemon at quite low levels, and then eventually it became a TM move. It's actually somewhat usable on Technician Scizor, but it's actually a reasonably decent bug move for early in the game, and it also comes with the added bonus of getting rid of your opponent's berry. In fact, not only that, I believe it actually, you actually get to use the berry yourself. Pluck is effectively the exact same move except flying time, so yeah. But yeah, Bug Bite is kind of weird in that, oh, that's interesting. Now, I guess I can talk about this. Yeah, the way that, that Forewarn, treats moves that don't have a fixed base power is interesting. Normally it's meant to warn you about the move that has the highest base power, but certain moves that, don't actually have a fixed power, it actually treats them having a specific base power. Let me see if I can get the chart up. Okay, turns out that Ballpinion doesn't actually have the specific chart and Smogon is down at the moment, so I do think Smogon actually does have a chart. Basically, certain moves are actually assigned a base power for the purposes of Forewarn, and I believe 1-hit KO moves are actually assigned quite a high base power. It just depends. I don't know if Low Kick is... I think Low Kick is treated as slightly less than its maximum power. I'm not entirely sure. I don't think it is treated as maximum power, but still, it's kind of interesting the way Forewarn works with non-fixed power moves like that. So, anyway, another Munna. And I'm getting ridiculously lucky with Supersonic here. So, yeah. Oh, and I'm getting very lucky with hitting itself. Ball Beam is a pretty nice move at this point in the game, I must say. Oh, very nice. Please hit yourself, please hit yourself, please hit yourself. Yes! Wow, I finally get lucky for once. Except not quite enough to finish it. But I can finish it with creepy singing! I still find the round and sound effect really creepy. Of course, the original sing sound effect in the Red and Blue was pretty creepy too. Not as creepy as Dream Eater, that sound effect was pretty terrifying. Like a horribly distorted sing. But anyway, okay, should we go back and heal once more? I think we should. Yeah, okay, we'll go back and heal, then we'll take on the end of the company. So, I'm back after going to the Pokemon Center. Let's take on the final clerk here. Of course, we have to get through him to get to this guy at the end. And this one clerk is kind of interesting. His trainer class is technically the same as all the other clerks, except he has a different sprite. Not only does he have a different sprite, he actually has a different base payout. For some reason, this one guy in the whole game, who uses the sort of boss clerk sprite, actually pays out more money than regular clerks, which makes sense, but he's still considered the same trainer class, which is interesting. Now I believe, yeah, the boss clerk also shows up in Black and White too. I don't know if boss clerks ever show up on the subway, but, they're basically, it's one of the few cases in the series where something considered the same trainer class actually has two different alternate sprites, and in fact they're almost treated like two separate classes. It's kind of like how in the original Gold and Silver, the sage at the end of Sprout Tower was slightly more important than the others, and in Heart Gold and Soul Silver, he was actually given a unique trainer class for himself, Elder, I believe. It was kind of interesting though, because once people saw the Elder sprite pop up before people knew the full significance of it, people were like, whoa, who's this? Is this some kind of mysterious new secret boss? Some people were even wondering if it was the Safari's own warden, but that turned out to be false. Yeah, he was just the Elder at the end of Sprout Tower, who was slightly more significant than the others. It's kind of the same case here, except he doesn't have his own different trainer class. So yeah, he has a slightly higher base payout. Now, I don't know if I've said this before, but I only found this out recently. The way payout is calculated for trainers is that every trainer class has its own base payout number. And that's the reason why rich boys and ladies give out massive amounts of money, is because their base payout is huge. Now, yeah, I believe the lowest base payout is preschoolers. So, that makes a lot of sense. Anyway though, the payout is kind of multiplied by the level of their highest level Pokemon. So that explains why trainers later in the game tend to give you more money. So yeah, basically, and now I can feel free to effectively spam growth and solo the rest of this battle with Lily, simply because the fire type is now out of the picture, so the next thing that comes up will be water, and I'll just destroy that. So anyway though, like I was saying, now interestingly enough, you, the player, actually have a base payout as well. Your payout is actually calculated, well, in the original games you'd simply pay out half your money always. In the later games, your payout was calculated the same way as the payout for other random enemy trainers. You actually have a base payout, and it's dependent on the number of badges you have. So the more badges you have, the more you lose when losing, so you gotta be aware of that. And of course, your payout's also based on the highest level Pokemon you have in your party at the time, too. So that's kind of interesting. I never knew that payout worked that way, so, anyway, just tanking this thing and stalling it out with some growths. This probably won't KO. Wait, did it? Did that just KO? Sorry, my screen is too small. Oh, it did, okay. My screen is too small to check if it had like 1 pixel of health left. Now, this thing is going down very, very quickly. So, this guy is pretty much done. Provided Furious Swipes doesn't do anything like critical 5 times. Which is actually surprisingly likely in Generation 1. In Generation 1, if any one hit of a multi-hitting move was a critical, then all hits would be critical. They, of course, fixed that in Generation 2. So now we've beaten the boss. And yeah, you might notice he does give out more money than the other people in the company. Oh, hey, that's kind of nice. So, let's go to this guy and claim our reward. Oh, wait, there's one more? We have to face the chairman. And it's... So, wait. We now have to face the chairman of the battle company, the strongest opponent here. Janitor Jeff? Really? And he has a Trubbish. Yeah, this is the first we've seen a Trubbish, but yeah. Funny how some people think it's weird that janitors use Pokemon commonly associated with garbage. But some people, there have been theories. Some people think they catch Pokemon that pollute in order to remove them from the area and thus reduce pollution. And there are other theories that, well, Trubbish and Garbodor, according to their Pokedex entries, actually attract garbage to themselves. So, in a way, they actually, ironically, help keep the area cleaner. Oh, not quite. But anyway, so yeah, it's kind of funny. Now, of course, Trubbish and Garbodor are some of the more controversial Pokemon of this generation, eliciting compliance of, these new Pokemon look like garbage, literally. But, you know, I actually kind of like, and in fact, well, the thing is about Garbodor, you really can't complain about it looking hideously ugly, because let's face it, it's meant to look hideously ugly. That's the entire point. It's a giant burst, it's basically a walking landfill. I mean, you wouldn't expect that to be anything less than hideously ugly. Trubbish, on the other hand, a lot of people have found to be surprisingly adorable for a walking garbage bag. Especially in the anime, it actually can get surprisingly cute there. Now, yes, now Minccino is kind of interesting, being the exact opposite of Trubbish, and I find it kind of funny that in Black and White 2, on the route just outside this city, you find Trubbish exclusively in one version and Minccino exclusively in the other, and oh, Thunderhoof, really, things have not been going well for you, I'm sorry. So anyway, Minccino is a Pokemon that seems to be, some kind of neat freak. It's obsessively cleaning things, and there was a whole episode about one in the anime that, oh dear, that could be not good. Fortunately, yeah, Infatuation won't kick in mid-attack, so that's pretty good. Although the concept is quite funny though, you just hit them once and, oh, I'm suddenly in love with you, wait, and then you can't stop yourself and you hit them again, no! Yeah, a whole, Achilles, Penthesilea situation there, and no, and if any of you get that reference, then I'm gonna seriously. I apologize, I've been playing Persona 3 lately. So anyway, here we have our reward, the Experience Share. Experience Share causes the Pokemon that holds it to get half the experience points that anything else has gained in battle. In this challenge, we don't gain experience points in battle, making it completely and utterly worthless. Yeah, you may as well just sell the Experience Share for cash. There is no way you're getting any use out of it. So basically, yeah, that visit to the battle company, apart from, I believe, the scope lens and a couple of Pokeballs, was pretty much useless. But at least I've shown this off, and at least I've given myself a bit of a challenge. It was pretty fun. So yeah, again, if you don't want to do the battle company in a no experience run, feel free not to. The reward, again, is literally useless. But that's most of Castelia City taken care of. Next time, we'll do the final few things left here and catch ourselves some Pokemon for the gym. See you then.